Hello, shalom. I pray that you all are having a good day. I am back again to give more of my testimony and how the Most High has brought me through. Hallelujah. First, we give our glory and our praises to where it's due. All honor goes to the Most High. He woke me up this morning. I'm in my right mind. I'm on the other side of the trauma. So, I left off speaking about the trauma that happened at home. Remember, it was the good, the bad, and the ugly. So this is still part of the ugly 2.0. And where I left off talking about my stepdad giving me a massage after dance camp. So my stepdad, like I said, he apologized, and I'm thinking, okay, he's not going to do that again. We're not going to bring it up to my mom. It's in the past. We're not going to worry about it. Again, I spoke about being exposed to some other things that was in my home. I found some videos, VHS tapes, some pornography. And oh my goodness, that is such a perverted spirit. That's something no child or anyone really should be opened up to, because you have no idea what spirit you let in when you watch that. And now your whole mindset of how, intimacy, and you look at people different. You look at them as an object. And because my stepdad was so deep in that spirit, that perverted spirit, he was very deep in that. And once he found out, I watched one of them videos, and then he found out I was sexually active, because I became sexually active after watching that. I mean, at that point, a teenager watching something like that, I want to see what it was about, unfortunately. And my goodness, the things that opened up from there. So he came to me and he asked, had I watched one of those videos? Because I think I left one in the VCR. So he came and asked me about it. And, I was scared. I'm like, dang, what do I say? I can't blame nobody else. I couldn't blame my little brother, So I told him the truth. I said, yes, I had. And he asked me, was I doing any of those things? And I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, some of the stuff you saw in the video. Are you doing any of those things? He said, I believe you are. He said, I think you're sexually active. And I can't remember. Yeah, this is really hard for me to go back and remember exactly what happened. I know I'm not speaking word for word, but I think I admitted to him that I had been. And, he talked to me about how I shouldn't be doing that, and that's bad, that's wrong. A father figure should. And I was like, okay. And he came to me another day after that. He came in my bedroom. I can't remember if my mom was there, if she was asleep. It was late at night. He came in there, and I was probably listening to some music or, something like that. And he said, I got to ask you a question. And I'm like, okay, what is it? And he asked me, in a sense, like, any of that stuff that I watched, was I curious about it, or something to that manner, to where he was trying to finesse. He was manipulating, not finesse. He was manipulating a 14-year-old into his perverted motives, right? So he was like, some of that stuff in that video, I want you to really know what they're doing and how it feels. And I'm like, no, I'm not at all interested. Especially, I don't want you, like, you? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not understanding what you're telling me. And he was like, well, I tell you what, if you don't let me do this, I'm gonna tell your mama, tell your dad, your grandparents, I'm gonna tell everybody what you've been doing. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I don't want them to know I've been looking at this stuff. I don't want them to know that I lost my virginity. I don't want them to know that. Mind you, again, I'm 14 years old. 14, about to be 15 years old. I'm still a child. Was very involved in church. You know, I knew my word. I knew I wasn't supposed to do that. You know, I had already had guilt about it. And he dangled that over my head and blackmailed me into doing things. Not going to go into details. I will say I was molested. I will say that I was raped. I will say that it happened on multiple occasions. And I will say that I was brainwashed and manipulated by an adult that's supposed to be the provider of our home. He's supposed to be the head of the home, my mom's husband. He's supposed to be a father figure. And he took advantage of me. Now, mind you, he also was very abusive to my mother as well. He was abusive. She had to get a restraining order on him. I remember she came home one time and he had parked his car in the backyard. He was inside the house and jumped on her. So he had spirits, y'all, demons inside of him. And I don't know if you all are aware of spirit you know, you can transfer spirits. I don't know if you all know that, you know, when you sleep with someone, those spirits, they mingle, you know, soul ties. So those spirits he had on me by taking advantage of me. Those spirits that were on him transferred to me inadvertently because he was manipulating me and taking advantage of a child. Told my mom finally, and the way this came about, best friend, homegirl down the street, we used to go to each other's house, and you know, anytime we wanted to do something, I would have to clean up or she would have to clean up. So what we would do is clean up each other's houses. So when we asked our parents if we could go chill at the other person's house, they wouldn't say, you didn't clean up, you didn't do this, my kitchen a mess, the room was a mess. We had already taken care of that. Me and her were very close. She used to come to church with me, Vacation Bible School. We went to 6th grade together, but then by the time 7th and 8th grade, you know, high school and all that, we went to different schools. But 6th grade, we did attend school together. And man, this little thing, she was feisty. But she was very encouraging. And this is the person that I confided in and told her what was going on in my home. And she was upset. Like I said, she was feisty. She's like 5'4". I may be giving her some height. She probably gonna see this video. So forgive me if I got your height wrong. And maybe you grew since then. But she wanted to fight him. And I was like, man, you can't fight him. Like, we're 14 years old, you know? So she was like, you know what? Write your mom a letter and let her know what's going on. You're gonna write her a letter. You're gonna leave it on her bed. And you're gonna come down to my house. So that's what I did. I told her what was happening. I just, I couldn't take it no more. Like, the abuse, the manipulation, I felt dirty. I was sick. The thoughts I was having, you know, against him and myself, you know, it was horrible. So I left that letter for my mother. I went down to my friend's house. And my mom later came home and found that letter. And she gave me a call. She called me down there and she was crying. She was upset and she was apologizing, you know. She's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. I'm sorry you had to go through this. So, She told me to come home. You know, I could stay the night there and I can come home the next day. And I did. And we sat down and talked. She didn't say anything to him about it. I don't think so at that time. She said we were going to get some help. And I was like, yes, finally we're going to get some help. Hopefully he can leave. Because I don't even want him at the house. Like, this man is a detriment to our whole family. To my mom, to myself, to my brother. Like, he's not helping. He's evil. He's evil. So the help that my mom went and got was a minister. And he came over to the house and we sat and we talked and, you know, read some scriptures, and that was it. That was it. He didn't have to leave. The scriptures and the minister's prayer was it. Like, there was no making him leave. I was hurt. I felt like my mom chose him over me. Yeah, and I love my mom. I miss her so much. But this was a strain in our relationship. And it hurts. Oh, so bad. And as a 14, 15-year-old, what do you do? You're already a teenager. You're already going through puberty, and, you know, it's a lot going on. You know, it's all about me, you know. But at that moment, I knew it wasn't just about me. This was for the greater good of our house. And how does this man get to stay after what he did to me? Now, mind you, after that talk or whatever, he didn't do anything again. I can't remember. Honestly, some of this is like blocked off in my memory. But I do remember feeling like, okay, she chose him. I'm just gonna do whatever. Like, I had a whatever attitude about life. So, this is when I was sexually active, and I decided, I had a boyfriend, was dating him for a while. My mom really didn't know about him, of course, you know, just sneaking, like I said, doing whatever. And as a result of that trauma that was not dealt with in the proper way, with it still being in my face, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just, like I said, just do whatever. And I got pregnant. I got pregnant on purpose at 16 years old. At 16 years old, what do I know about being a mother, being a parent? I'm still in high school. I had quit, before I got pregnant, I quit track. I quit the dance team. I stayed in choir. I had already let basketball go. I remember at church, my, you know, youth leader they saw how withdrawn I was. I was very nonchalant. I'm like, whatever, I don't care. You know, they tried to talk to me and I didn't want to hear nobody. Because my own mother, I feel like my own mother didn't really care for my needs. Didn't really care. So, went out there and I got pregnant. I want y'all to understand and see where, when trauma isn't dealt with and it festers and you packing more and more on top of it, it gets so big that you can't even deal with life. This is where depression and suicidal thoughts come in. Anger, resentment, this is where all this comes in. And let me tell you who knows that. The enemy knows that. Those spirits, those dark demented spirits know that, and they know how to work. So I got pregnant. I hid it for about 4 months. Like, nobody knew. Well, like, a couple of my friends and stuff knew, but my mom, my parents, my grandparents, they didn't know. So my mom found out. You know, moms know. They look at their daughters, they know. And I had to eventually tell my dad that I was pregnant. And mind you, my dad didn't know any about what had happened with my stepdad. He didn't know none about that stuff. So when I told him I was pregnant, because of the disappointment he had with me, I was like, you don't even know what's been going on. You don't know why I'm here. So I had to tell him. I said, well, Daddy, things ain't been right at home. I told him that my stepdad had violated me. And that broke my daddy. It broke him. But he said, you know what? We taking this to the police. We taking his tail to jail. And some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Some other stuff wanted to happen. Some other stuff was said about what should happen to him. So, went to the police, filed a report, told them what happened. I had to file a report in Fort Worth as well as another county because it happened when we went out of town too. Like, he just filed the report and the police eventually came to the house. Now, I had to leave. Me and my brother had to leave and we went to stay with my dad. The police came to the house. I was there picking up my clothes the same day that the police came. I can't remember how this transpired, but I remember them being outside of my house with like on the speaker thing on the car, telling him to come out. I'm sorry, telling him to come out as if this was some type of standoff. And instantly, I felt like everything was my fault. I was like, what did I do? Why did I say something? You know, my mom, you know, she's going to be mad at me. My dad is mad at me. He's going to be mad at me. And I remember going in the kitchen and banging my head up against the wall. Like banging it, boom, boom, boom. You stupid. Why did you do that? And my little brother running in. And he said, sister, don't do that. It's okay. Don't do that. He hugged me. He said, I love you. Don't do that. So they arrested him. You know, things happened. He went to court. I had to go to counseling. My brother had to go to counseling. My mom went to counseling. We all went to counseling to different counselors or whatever. And even at that time, I couldn't open up and talk. Like, I just couldn't. Like, they knew what happened. I went to counseling with other teens who had been raped and molested. It was like a group counseling type of thing. And then at the same time, I was pregnant too. So I'm like, I really don't want to talk about this. I don't want to be here. I want to focus on my baby and school and things like that. So fast forward to when he's sentenced. Now, there's a lot of things that happen in between about being a teen mom. That's a whole different story, but I got to fast forward and tell you about this particular trauma, this particular situation. Fast forward to when he's sentenced. He gets sentenced to 10 years. I found out. And again, that guilt was on me. I'm like, why do I feel guilty? I didn't know why I felt guilty. Because he did this to me. He did this to me. He did it to himself. My goodness. So, I remember when I found out he was sentenced and was going to be gone for 10 years, I saw my mom. My mom looked a little relieved, but at the same time, she looked sad. And I felt like it was my fault. And this is the first time I contemplated suicide. And I went and took some pills. Now, the pills I took by no means would have taken me out. Again, young, I don't know, 17 years old. I didn't know what to take, 17, 18 years old. Anyway, but still, these pills made me very sick and it made me sleepy. But oh, to be kept by the Most High. It didn't take me out. As you can see, I'm here. And I'm here, all for the better. And I just wanted to share that story because molestation and rape is too common in the Black community, and it's not spoken of. It's not handled. We have a lot of trauma as it is, as a people. We have a lot of trauma. So, as I said, when you pack on trauma after trauma, hurt after hurt, you let it fester, and it's sitting in there boiling and bubbling over, you become a toxic person because you got toxins inside of you. We as a people, we're toxic to one another. And I want to share this because we need to heal. The Abba heals. There's healing in the Abba. Yes, go and get some counseling and talk to someone. Yes, do your journaling. Yes, do whatever it is, as long as it's righteous, that makes you feel better. You know, for me, I like to write music. I like to listen to music, you know. I like to dance, you know. I like to talk to people. I like to mentor others. But at the same time, I know that there's someone else out there that I'm trying to reach. And I know I didn't do this by myself. Like this was not me. And guess what else I had to do? And we'll talk about this more, but I had to renounce those spirits that were on me from my stepdad. Those spirits that were on me from my child's father. I had to renounce them. So renouncing those spirits, when you do that, you start the healing process. Also, a lot of those spirits, a lot of those things, the trauma that comes along with that comes from generational curses. And believe it or not, a lot of times when we are violated, those spirits are familiar within our family. And we just don't speak on it. I remember even telling my grandmother, you know, that I was hurt about what happened to me. You know, Most High rest her soul. You know, she's at peace right now. But I remember her telling me, it happened to us all. It's okay. It happened to all of us. You'll get over it. I'm like, what? So we can't sweep it under the rug. We can't just move on like it didn't happen. We got to deal with it. We got to deal with our trauma. So I'm hoping that I helped someone today. My story, my testimony. Yes, it was very difficult to talk about. But I'm being obedient once again. So next time I come on, I'll talk about, you know, being a teen mom and the trauma that went along with that. And Most High willing, you know, if he allows me to see another day. And tomorrow is the Shabbat, so I will be resting on tomorrow. But I just want to say blessings and shalom to you all. May Yahuwah bless your home. Shalom.
In times. You can't bring me down. I know who I belong to. Yeah. What? I won't sell my soul. I know my worth. Yeah. Oh, they say misery loves company. They say misery loves company. You show me hate, you gon' get love from me. These ain't raps, these Hebrew spirituals. I tell them guard your light, they wanna steal your glow.